Hello, good afternoon everybody. So we are from English department, we are group 5 and we are from PBIC class.
My name is Made Ayu Sentana of English Department C. I'm from Group 5. My student number is 19 710 and 22.
My name is Luh Putu Novitayanti. My student number 19 and I'm from Group 5.
So today we would like to explain about learning strategy. But before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Made Ayu Laksmi and my student number is 19 and I'm number 18 in my class. So first of all, I would like to explain about definition of learning strategies. What is learning strategies? Learning strategies. Strategic learning is two words from English which have the meaning of learning is learning, and strategic is strategies or ways. So, learning strategy can be defined as a learning strategy. However, because the learning strategy is a learning model that is developing, it is called strategic learning. And next, I would like to explain about the type of learning strategy. Learning strategies there are four types. The first is direct learning strategy. So direct learning strategy is the one with the highest teacher-centered level, and it is the most frequently used. And the second is indirect learning strategy. Indirect learning shows a high from a student's involvement in observation, investigation, drawing, inference based on data, or forming hypotheses.
And now I would like to explain about the interactive learning strategy. So interactive learning strategies refers to forms of discussion and sharing among students. Seaman and Valence in 1989 suggest that discussion and sharing will provide opportunities for students to react to the ideas, experience, views, and knowledge of the teachers of group, and try to find alternatives in thinking. And then independent learning strategies. Independent learning is a learning strategies that aims to build individual initiative, independence, and self-improvement. The focus is on planning independent learning by students with the help of teachers. Independent learning can also be done with friends or part of small groups. The advantage of this learning is to form independent and responsible students. While the drawback is that the participants are not yet mature, it is difficult to use independent learning. And then experiential learning strategies. This learning strategies is a strategy that use learning method with an inductive sequence that focus students and also their orientation towards an existing activity. And next is method of learning strategies. And the first is lecture method. Lecture learning method is a relatively large number of verbal information on learning materials to a group of listeners to achieve certain learning objectives. As shown by McLeish in 1976, through lecturing, several objectives can be achieved. With the lecture method, teachers can encourage inspiration for their listeners. And the second is discussion method. The discussion learning method is a process of involving two or more participants to interact, exchange opinions, and or defend each other's opinions in problem solving so that an agreement can be obtained between them. Learning that uses the discussion method is interactive learning. And third is demonstration method. The demonstration learning method is a very effective learning method to help students find answers to questions such as how do you recognize it? How do you organize it? How does the process works? How is the process of doing it? Demonstration as a learning method is when a teacher or demonstrator or a student shows the whole class of process. For example, the operation of an automatic washing device, how to make cakes, and so on. And four is the lecture method plus. The lecture plus learning method is a teaching method that uses more than one method, namely the lecture method combined with other methods There are three kinds of plus lecture methods, including A. Lecture method plus questions and answer and assignment, and B. Lecture method plus discussion and assignment, and C. Lecture method plus demonstration and exercise, or CPDL. And 5 is recitation method. Recitation method is a teaching method by requiring students to make a resume in their own sentence. The advantage of the recitation method are: A. The knowledge that students get from their own learning will be able to remember it longer. And B. Students will have the opportunity to increase courage, initiative, responsibility, and independence. And now is the disadvantage of the recitation method. A. Sometimes students commit fraud, namely students only imitate the results of the other people's works without bothering to do it themselves. And B. Sometimes the task is done by someone else without supervision. And C. It is difficult to assign assignments that cater to individual difference. And now number 6, experimental method. The experimental learning method is a way of managing learning in which students carry out experimental activities by experiencing and proving themselves what they have learned. In this method, students are given the opportunity to experience themselves or do it themselves by following a process, observing an object, analyzing, proving, and drawing their own conclusion about the object they are learning. Next is number 7, study tour method or walks tour. Study tour methods or study tour is a teaching method by inviting students to visit an object in order to broaden their knowledge, and then students make reports and discuss the result of the visit accompanied by an educator. Number 8 is skills training method. The skills training method is a teaching method by providing repeated skills training to students and taking them directly to the skills training place to see the process of the goals, functions, use, benefits of some things. For example, making a bag from a mute. This skills training method aims to form automatic habits or pattern in students. And number 9 is team teaching method. The team learning method is a teaching method where the educator is more than one person who each has tasks. Usually, one of the educators is appointed as a coordinator. The method of testing: each educator makes questions, then combines them. If it is an oral exam, each student being tested must face the teaching team directly.
Okay, next I would like to continue explain the material about learning method. The 10, there is peer teaching method. Peer teaching method is the same as teaching fellow peers, which is a teaching method assisted by their own friends. Jadi metode peer teaching ini yaitu pengajaran yang dibantu oleh rekan atau teman sebayanya atau teman-temannya sendiri. Dan next, problem solving method. The problem solving method is not only a teaching method but also a method of thinking, because in problem solving, one can use other methods that start by looking for data to draw conclusions. The problem solving method is a method that stimulates thinking and use insight without looking at the quality of the opinions conveyed by students. A teacher must be clever to stimulate students to try to express their opinions. Jadi, problem solving method itu metode pemecahan masalah. Metode pemecahan masalah tidak hanya merupakan metode pengajaran, tetapi juga metode berpikir, karena dalam pemecahan masalah, seseorang dapat menggunakan metode lain yang dimulai dengan mencari data untuk menarik kesimpulan. Dan metode pemecahan masalah merupakan metode yang merangsang berpikir dan menggunakan wawasan tanpa melihat kualitas pendapat yang disampaikan siswa. Jadi seorang guru itu mengajarkan dengan metode pemecahan masalah dan tanpa harus berpikir atau melihat kualitas pendapat dari siswa tersebut. Jadi pendapat dari siswa itu diterima dengan baik walaupun itu pendapatnya kurang tepat. Dan seorang guru harus pandai menstimulasi siswanya untuk mencoba mengutarakan pendapatnya yang lebih baik lagi. Okay, next, project method. Project method is a design method, is a teaching method by asking students to design a project to be studied as an object of study. Jadi project method itu metode proyek, yaitu metode proyek adalah metode perancangan merupakan metode pengajaran dengan meminta siswa merancang suatu proyek untuk dipelajari sebagai objek penelitian. Jadi seorang guru meminta siswa untuk membuat suatu suatu proyek untuk dipelajari kembali sebagai objek penelitian. Seperti contoh, misalnya guru memberikan suatu materi, lalu si guru tersebut memberikan proyek kepada siswanya untuk dipelajari kembali dan digunakan sebagai objek penelitian. Okay, next, Taylor method. Taylor method is a method of teaching by using parts. For example, part by part and is connected again with other part which are of course related to the problem. Jadi metode Taylor merupakan metode pengajaran dengan menggunakan bagian-bagian, misalnya bagian demi bagian, kemudian dihubungkan kembali dengan bagian-bagian lain yang tentunya berkaitan dengan masalah tersebut. Okay, next, the global method yaitu Gaines method. The global method is a teaching method in which students are asked to read the entry material. Then students resume what they can absorb or take the essence of the material. Jadi metode global merupakan suatu metode pengajaran di mana siswa diminta untuk membaca keseluruhan materi, kemudian siswa melanjutkan apa yang dapat mereka serap atau diambil intinya dari materi tersebut. I want to explain about learning components. Teaching is something that is deliberate, designed in such a way as to convey information from teacher to student to support the internal learning process. In this case, it is necessary to pay attention to what events can support this event. Let me explain the event that support this activity exists. Jadi komponen pembelajaran yaitu mengajar merupakan sesuatu yang sengaja dirancang sedemikian rupa untuk menyampaikan informasi dari guru kepada siswa. Untuk mendukung proses pembelajaran internal, dalam hal ini perlu diperhatikan apa saja yang dapat mendukung pembelajaran tersebut. Jadi di sini ada salah satu pendapat dari Gagne menjelaskan pembelajaran yang mendukung kegiatan pembelajaran ada get attention. To get student attention is not easy but not difficult. It will be easy if the teacher really know what the student like, and it will be difficult when the teacher doesn't know about the student. The way to get this attention can be by playing a video related to the subject matter being presented, or by using problem questions such as what causes object to always fall down. It will attract curiosity from student, and in the end student will be interested in following the lesson. In addition, John Keller explained how to motivate students to become interested in teaching materials, namely the ARSG. Motivates model: A. Attention, R. Relevant, C. Confidence, and S. Satisfaction. Jadi untuk mendukung pembelajaran internal, dalam hal ini perlu diperhatikan yaitu mendapat perhatian dari siswa. Untuk mendapatkan perhatian siswa memang tidak mudah tapi tidak sulit. Akan mudah jika guru benar-benar mengetahui apa yang disukai siswanya, dan akan sulit bila guru tidak mengenal siswanya. Cara untuk mendapatkan perhatian ini bisa dengan memutar video yang berhubungan dengan materi pembelajaran atau sejenis presentasi yang sedang disajikan, atau dengan menggunakan pertanyaan menyelidik seperti apa yang menyebabkan benda selalu jatuh. Hal ini akan menarik rasa penasaran dari siswa dan pada akhirnya siswa akan tertarik untuk mengikuti pelajaran tersebut. Nah, selain itu, ada pendapat dari John Keller menjelaskan cara memotivasi siswa agar tertarik pada bahan ajar, yaitu dengan model motivasi ARCS, yaitu A. Attention, yaitu mendapatkan perhatian, R. Relevance, yaitu relevan, C. Confidence, yaitu kepercayaan, dan S. Satisfaction. Yang pertama, attention, yaitu perhatian. Mendapatkan perhatian siswa merupakan prasyarat untuk kegiatan belajar mengajar. Mendapatkan perhatian mungkin mudah, tetapi mempertahankan mungkin lebih sulit. Attention, getting student attention is a prerequisite for teaching and learning activities. Getting attention may be easy, but maintaining it may be more difficult. And next, relevance. How to make teaching relevant to the need of student both at present and in the future. Perhaps by using the words, you will need this in the future, because most of the young students are indifferent and do not want to know in the future what is important in the present. Jadi relevan, yaitu relevansi, bagaimana membuat pengajaran relevan dengan kebutuhan siswa baik saat ini maupun di masa depan. Mungkin dengan menggunakan kata-kata Anda akan membutuhkan ini di masa depan. Contohnya seperti pelajaran ini Anda akan mengalaminya di kehidupan masa depan. Jadi siswa akan tertarik, dan karena sebagian besar siswa mudah acuh tak acuh dan melakukan tidak ingin tahu di masa depan apa yang penting di masa sekarang. Oke, next, confidence, yaitu kepercayaan diri. Rasa percaya diri akan meningkat, daya putus siswa dalam belajar akan semakin tinggi. Meyakini bahwa usaha dan hasil yang diperoleh siswa adalah hasil kerja keras, bukan sekedar keberuntungan. So, confidence will be increased, the working power of student in learning will be higher, making a belief that the effort and result obtained by students are the result of hard work, not just luck. Okay, next, satisfaction. People will be more confident if made aware of the duties and reward of success. Jadi satisfaction itu kepuasan. Orang akan lebih percaya diri jika disadarkan akan tugas dan meraih kesuksesan dan mendapatkan reward. Jadi siswa akan lebih percaya diri jika kita sebagai guru memberikan suatu reward kepada siswa yang telah berhasil.
Okay, next, the function and purpose of learning strategy, yaitu fungsi dan tujuan dari strategi pembelajaran. The first as a portion to develop teaching material, yaitu sebagai acuan untuk mengembangkan bahan ajar. As a set of criteria for evaluating existing teaching material, yaitu sebagai seperangkat kriteria untuk mengevaluasi bahan ajar yang ada. And as a set of criteria and formula for replacing existing teaching material, yaitu sebagai kriteria dan rumus untuk merevisi bahan ajar yang sudah ada. And the next as a framework for planning class lecture notes in active group exercise and homework assessment, itu sebagai kerangka kerja untuk merencanakan catatan kelas kuliah, latihan kelompok yang tidak aktif, dan tugas pekerja rumah. And the next, provide learning content to student, memberikan konten pembelajaran kepada siswa, and presenting information or material needed in learning to show performance, yaitu menyajikan informasi atau materi yang dibutuhkan dalam pembelajaran untuk menunjukkan kinerja. And the last, conclusion. Strategy is a pattern that is planned and set intentionally to carry out activities or action, where learning is an educator's effort to help students carry out learning activities. Jadi, strategi adalah pola yang direncanakan dan ditetapkan dengan sengaja untuk melaksanakan kegiatan atau tindakan,
dan di mana pembelajaran merupakan upaya seorang pendidik untuk membantu peserta didik dalam melaksanakan kegiatan pembelajaran. So, the learning strategy include the use of approaches, methods, and technique form of media, learning results, grouping of students to release educational interaction between educator and student, between student and on the process, result, and or impact of learning activities. In this case, the learning strategy is defined as a plan that contains a series of activities designed to achieve certain education goals. Jadi, dengan demikian, strategi pembelajaran meliputi penggunaan pendekatan, metode dan teknik, bentuk media, sumber belajar, pengelompokan peserta didik untuk mewujudkan interaksi pendidikan antara pendidik dan peserta didik, antara peserta didik serta pada proses hasil dan atau dampak pembelajaran kegiatan. Dalam hal ini, strategi pembelajaran diartikan sebagai suatu rencana yang memuat rangkaian kegiatan yang dirancang untuk mencapai tujuan pendidikan tertentu. So, types of learning strategies: direct strategies, indirect learning, experiential learning, independent learning, and interactive learning. The terms related to learning strategies include learning model, learning approaches, technical learning methods, and tactic in learning. Jadi, jenis strategi pembelajaran secara langsung maupun pembelajaran tidak langsung, pembelajaran experience, yaitu pengalaman, pembelajaran mandiri, dan pembelajaran interaktif. Istilah yang berkaitan dengan strategi pembelajaran antara lain model pembelajaran, pendekatan pembelajaran, metode pembelajaran, teknik dan taktik dalam pembelajaran. So, the elements in the learning strategy include the series or sequence and grouping of content learning components, grouping student and selecting media in teaching system. So, unsur-unsur dalam strategi pembelajaran meliputi rangkaian atau urutan dan pengelompokan isi, komponen pembelajaran, pengelompokan siswa, serta pemilihan media dan sistem pengajar. Okay, that's all about material group of group 5 about learning strategy. If we make a mistake, we just apologize, and I'm closing with Parama Santi. Santi. Have a nice day.